This is my new camera, the DJI Pocket 4P, and today I want to put it through its paces whilst I make a real vlog for my channel. Because I've got to be honest guys, I find it a little difficult to find genuine and honest reviews for cameras, so I wanted to make one myself, review the Pocket 4P, find out just how good it is, find out the bad things about it, and everything else in between. We have 12 scenarios to test to see how the DJI Pocket 4P works in the real world, so we better get going. As we get going to our first stop, I just wanted to set the scene. So if you already subscribed to me, don't worry, this isn't just a camera review. We are actually going to vlog and see things in Bangkok. If you're new, welcome, and you're here for the camera. I'm Joe, or Joey, on the channel. I live in Bangkok, and I've just bought the camera and I want to put it through its paces in real life vlogging, because you see so many reviews where it's just perfect scenario or they're paid by the company. I paid for the camera myself. There's zero sponsorship from the camera companies. And yeah, I just want to see how it performs. We have 12 scenarios that I would like to see, and we're going to work through them whilst vlogging in real life. Like now, walking and vlogging. How's the stabilization? How is the background? Things like this. The reason I bought the camera is because I feel like there's a bit of a gap in my equipment. I have the DJI Action 5 and I have the Sony ZV-E1, which is a full frame mirrorless. Now the Action is fantastic and it's very easy to lose, but I feel like I compromise on the quality. Whereas the mirrorless, the Sony, the full frame is incredible on quality, but I compromise on the practicality. So I was looking for something which kind of slotted into the middle of that would allow me to make vlogs which it's inconspicuous for one, so that'll be interesting to see how much I get people looking at me. It's very easy to use, and yes, okay, there is a compromise on quality compared to the full frame, but how much? I guess we're about to see today. Unless I tell you otherwise, this is going to be the baseline for the vlog, just so you know. This is the first time I've used the camera. I've never used a pocket camera before, so they're not going to be perfect. But yes, these are my camera settings. If I'm doing anything wrong or there's something I should change, do let me know. It also goes without saying, please leave me comments throughout the video in each scenario and tell me what you think, and then what you think overall. That would be really helpful. Too late, we bought it now, but I would love to know what you think. Anyway, this is the walking and vlogging. We're going to do a little bit more of this, obviously, because we're actually going to vlog. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys at the coffee shop for the next scenario. For this one, this is Talking Head in lower light, although actually it's not so low light, so we probably want to change that. But Talking Head shot, the reason I have my phone out, I didn't buy the vlogger combo where you get this stupid little screen because they've just tried to match what Insta360 Luna does, and they kind of bolted one on afterwards. I'm just using my phone. I can shape up how I want the shot, and actually we can move as well. I'm not going to do that because I've got it set up now. But I wanted to see what it was like for these shots. 3x zoom, you have to get the tripod quite far away, to be honest. But I've come to a coffee shop to show you this, and it's called Nana Roasters. It's in the area, in the neighborhood that I live in. It's quite quiet now, it's early, 9:20 on a weekday. On the weekend, this place is heaving. It's like social media star paradise. They roast their own coffee. Coffee in Thailand is amazing, by the way. And I'm drinking it again, so I'm very happy. I've gone for a dirty latte, which is my treat coffee, I would say. Basically heavy cream or full fat cream mixed with a bit of full fat milk to, make it a bit more viscous. And then the coffee is put on top. The coffee is hot, the cream is chilled, like almost ice cold, and you get this layering in there. Ah, it's so good. It's so rich, and it tastes strangely, I say this every time and it's true, it tastes of buttered toast. So good. Anyway, how is it? How is the background? How is the compression? How is it looking? It's a bit hard. I can't see from over there, obviously. But if I did this and put it in 1x zoom, I think it will look a bit too warped and changed. Can we do that? Yes, we can. There you go. Now you got me in full screen. I think it just, it's too far away, but I think it looks a bit wide. That's cool though, that you can change all of the settings on here. Talking Head with the 1x camera. Does it look better? does it look different? If you are in Thailand, this must be elsewhere now, but you have to try this when you're here. There's good ones and bad ones. Some of them taste incredible. This one I would say is above average. It's not the best I've had, but it's definitely not a bad one. 150 baht, so they're not cheap because they're using quite a lot of rich ingredients, let's say that, and it's good quality coffee. It's a winner. It'll be your Sunday treat, I guarantee. The place that I thought was best to do this was actually the shopping centre. Shopping malls in Bangkok are amazing, and I have to get a few things. I want to check out a few things, and I thought, what better place to come to check out low light and changing light, because you have all the different colours from the different things. So like here, we've got a very cool light, and then we can move into warmer light. So it'll be interesting to see how it copes, and it will be interesting to see how it is in the low light, because that for me is where the Osmo Action really falls down and kind of negates its ease of use, and that is in low light. I can walk around with the Sony, I don't mind. I don't mind if people are staring at me, and a little tip on that if you are filming is just do it, repetition, and you'll get used to it. And the quality, of course, is amazing, but this is on a gimbal. It's much lighter to walk around with. It's much easier to walk around with. So ideally, I'd be using something like this instead of walking around with the Sony, and it's not because I'm scared. Anyway, there's a few things I want to look at, which I'll do, and then we're gonna go and make a purchase, and that's kind of where we'll test out the low light. All right, I've done a few bits and bobs, and now I wanted to come to Adidas, because I want to get a football shirt, I think. So I thought I'd, low light, try it on, walk around, kind of see what's what. If you didn't know, I'm a Manchester United fan, and I'm not really a big fan of buying shirts, I must admit. This is a new home shirt. I'm not really a big fan, but this blue one I saw, it looks stunning. Absolutely stunning. I'm gonna try one on, I think, and see which one fits. Now I've lost a bit of weight. I don't know if I'm small or if I'm medium. Maybe I'm extra small. I doubt it, but we'll try them on, and you guys tell me what you think. I might buy it today, or I might wait to see what you guys say if it looks good, and then I'll buy it. We'll see. Actually, this is good. This is proper low light in here. Didn't really want to film outside the changing rooms. So proper low light, how is it doing? Of course, I'm gonna have to take my top off. I'm gonna spare you that. But what's the quality like in low light? I mean, it's on a gimbal, so the stabilization should be the same, but we'll test that later. But just how does it look? How does it look in terms of quality? I don't know, I can't really tell, but you guys and I will know by the time you watch this. Option number one is small. Actually, I quite like it, but the only danger is if I put on more weight after losing weight. I've lost 7 kilos, by the way, just hit my weight goal. If I put on more weight, I'm gonna look like a right chub in this small one, but it's okay. It looks good. Oh, I like it. I like the blue. It's the new away kit for the new season. And yeah, as I say, often I'm just like, yeah, I don't need that kit, but this one looks slick. All right, I move the angle so the light is even lower. And actually it's still in -7 EV comp. So what if we change that and we bring it up? There we go, now it's in 0. Does that make a difference? Who knows? That's actually quite easy to do. Just do it on the screen. Everyone said keep it in -7 EV comp, so that's kind of where it is. But medium, I should probably get this one, shouldn't I? I kind of like things which are fitting a bit tighter, but yeah, medium. I think medium looks better. There we go. I'll show you on a little more light. Still low light, but a little more light. What I will do is we're going to go to a nighttime place, a night market this evening. So we'll see what it's really like in the dark. But I always find it interesting where it's like in between because that's when you really notice it. Like, you kind of expect it not to look so good when it's really dark, of course. But when it's like this and it's kind of in the middle of having light and not having light, that's when I really am like, ooh, this is not looking good. I bought it. I decided to buy it. I went medium, 4,600 baht, which is about £100, but it is for the player version. They do have a cheaper version for 2,900, but if you're going to do it, why not get the player version? Get the proper stuff. All right. I do not think that Formula One bosses will be calling me anytime soon based on this simulator. However, you know, the real life stuff, the go-karting, I was quite good at that for the first time. So maybe they'll be calling me for that. But it was fun. Anyway, next up, the next scenario is shutter speed or filters, because I don't have an ND filter, you see. I have no accessories. Well, actually, I have one that allows me to clip it to the action camera quick clip so I can put it on the tripod, which makes my life a little easier. So I can pop it off and pop it on. That's a good one. I think it's called, let me check. It's called the Ulanzi PK10. It was very cheap and I think it was worth it. But because I don't have ND filters, which is essentially like sunglasses for your camera, the shutter speed, to compensate for that, to keep the light down, goes quite fast. So it doesn't look as cinematic, so I kind of want to know how it looks anyway. But also, you don't get nice motion blur, it gets very choppy. And it, you know, when I move my hand, I'll show you actually, I'll show you on the Sony camera, doing this, what good motion blur should look like. But right now, it looks choppy, so I kind of want to see if that's a problem, or if you guys let me know if it's a problem, and the only way to do that is to see something moving. So I'm walking to find a place where we can see the train going past and see what that motion looks like. Now, you do have ND filters, but you have to like pop them off and pop them on depending on the lighting scenario. It kind of defeats the whole point of vlogging and making life easy. So ideally I don't have them, and I worry less about it looking cinematic. But let's see. Right, here we go. I've got the shot. I just need to wait for the train to come past. I guess we could also do it with the cars and the motorbikes, because there's an intersection here. But let's have a look at the train and let's have a look at the motorbikes afterwards. All right, here we go. See, it just doesn't look smooth like it would with a human eye. It looks a bit jittery. Let's say that. Not jittery, but it's just more crisp. A lot of people say they don't like it. And it's true, it's not known as cinematic. You're meant to have twice your frames per second as your shutter speed and keep that fixed. But then again, I think having a blurry background looks nice and cinematic, and you guys tell me that you would rather see what's in the background and have it nice and crisp. So I think I just kind of need to get over that stuff. Kind of, again, with the cameras, it's horses for courses, isn't it? When I want to really step it up and do an amazing video, I care about that stuff, and when I just want to vlog, I don't. The same with the cars and the bikes. Do you notice any difference? Does it look bad? Does it look sickly? Is it annoying? It is jittery, I can see that even on the little screen. But does it really make that much of a difference? Next up, I've come to the old city of Bangkok. We've ditched the skyscrapers and we've got these low-rise buildings, very pretty old buildings actually, old style, and we've come to look for some food. So there's a few things I want to test. Food is important on my YouTube channel. We're right by a canal and you can see everyone, it's lunchtime. Sawadee Krap. Everyone is eating lunch side, friendly Thai people as ever. Got street carts set out. There's one I have in mind. I kind of want to find somewhere that has inside so we can test what it's like in the low light. We've done the talking head shots in the proper light, and now I want to test in the low light. But it gives us a good opportunity to come and find some food. I love these buildings. Just walking past and seeing the colors, the contrast in the colors as well. I know it's just plastic chairs and green doors, but I love it. Good test on the color as well. So let's see if we can find this place. But this, I don't come to this area enough. And I should come and make more videos, because you have old school shops like this, This guy's just, I don't even know what it, oh, it's a gun shop. Probably shouldn't be showing that. On camera. Oh, brilliant. It's one way to get cancelled, isn't it? Show a shop that you shouldn't be showing. But look, old style buildings and old school shops. This is what I'm trying to show. I mean, this is just like a garage shop. But they look so rustic and they look so ancient. All right, I found a restaurant. Now, I came and ate here a few years ago. And I don't know if he'll remember me. But it's an amazing dish, and it's one of the best versions of this dish in Bangkok for me. So let's see. It's chicken rice. Sounds simple, but when it's done well, it is amazing. Sawadee krap. It is, well, you have two types. You have, well, three types normally. You have grilled chicken, you have boiled chicken, and then also you can get fried chicken as well on the side. And served over rice, but not just any rice. So this is going to be my lunch, and this is going to be our test. I've been craving this for a long time. So I've ordered mixed. So the rice, it's obviously pre-cooked, served in a big pot, cooked in chicken fat, or with chicken fat. That goes onto the plate. And I've ordered mixed. Some of that juicy, juicy chicken. If I'm filming this, obviously I'll look for the best light. And that's kind of the important thing when you're filming these things. Oh, you also get a bowl of soup on the side, chicken broth. But because I'm testing, I want to see how it is in low light, because not every restaurant has good light. So again, that's also important. That's why I use the Sony normally. Just want to try this. So one of the tests that I do, on Sony is really good for this, is this should be focused on me right now. But if I hold something up to the camera, I would like it to obviously not focus. I would like it to focus. Maybe it's the focusing distance. I don't have a clue of what the focusing distance is. Maybe it's the light. So I've turned on something called Product Showcase. It should focus on me when I'm in the shot, but when I hold something up, it should focus on whatever I'm holding up. Is it working? I don't know. But obviously if I'm talking about food and then I'm holding something up to the camera, it would be good if it could focus on that. I don't think it worked in there. I'm not sure. Maybe I just couldn't see. But yeah, that would be a bit annoying if that didn't work. So let's try again. Oh no, it is doing it. It is probably something to do with the, there's a minimum distance that you can hold it to focus. Yeah, it's doing it, so that's good. So I could be talking and I say, oh my God, this food is so good. Look at that dumpling, or look at that piece of chicken. Well, in this case, look at that piece of chicken. I hold it up and then I eat it and it should come back to me. Oh my God. Chicken rice sounds so basic, as I said, like something you have when you're ill, not as a pleasure, I guess. In Thailand, and actually around Southeast Asia and other countries too, it's such a wonderful dish, but like anything in food, if it's simple, it needs to be perfect. So you can see that rice, it's not clumpy. It just falls apart, grain by grain, off the spoon. The chicken has to be succulent. And this is succulent and it's tasty, in Asia. You get good chicken, good quality chicken. There's chili sauce on the side, so I'm just going to put a little bit of that. Let's vlog it how I would vlog it. There's chili sauce on the side, so I'm going to put some of that on it. Now it's going to be spicy, isn't it? So we're doing it twice. I'm going to put some of that on. How does this 3x zoom camera do in the low light? Probably not so good, to be honest. But just for that B-roll stuff. I know this isn't pretty, but I've already destroyed it, but just to see what it looks like from a B-roll perspective, taking shots of the food, like it's nice creamy background and the food is in focus, so that's okay. And just testing that out in better light would probably be something like that when I'm looking at it, but it's 60 millimeters actually. It's quite far away. This is not really the shot. I haven't really sorted this out. It's not on my phone. All right, let's do this. Sorry, this is amateurish. This is not like my normal vlogs, by the way, and then my subscribers will be able to attest to that. But I want to see what the 3x zoom camera is like in the low light. It's super low light in here. This is probably as low as I would go, even on the Sony camera. So if this looks usable, then I need to worry less about that, if you see what I mean. And just that compression on the, here we go. Let's, oh, yeah, okay. I need to get used to which way goes which way. There we go. Too much. This is brilliant, but that's cool, I like that. Okay, right. How does this look in the low light? How does this food taste now I've got the sauces on it? Oh my, that sauce just takes it to another level, the chili sauce. Now for the grilled one. Yes. The plain roast chicken, this is where I want product showcase. I probably can't show you from here because it's about 2 meters away from me, the camera. But this chicken, this skin, is smoky and sticky and delicious. And I haven't eaten chicken skin for about 2 months because I've been on a diet. I mean, that is a top-tier dish. A top-tier version of a top-tier dish, let's say that. I think you would be hard-pressed to find anything better than that in Bangkok or in Thailand. Might be the best in the world in that case. And just 60 baht, 60 baht. That was absolutely top tier, as I said. A must try if you're visiting Bangkok or Thailand. I want to tell you about 2 things whilst we test another feature here. Can you tell me what the feature is? I'll give you a little hint. It's called Active Track. It will lock onto you and it will follow you around. I'm not sure if I'll ever use it. It doesn't really fit into the type of content that I make. It's a bit, I don't know, a bit gimmicky for me. But it could be interesting. It could work in certain situations. I'm going to tell you about 2 things. If you're traveling anytime soon and you want mobile data, you can scan here and get my eSIM recommendation and the discount, or find the links in the description. Or if you are coming to Bangkok and you want to eat well or get my travel guides, you can scan this link or find it in the description and you can find them as well. Over 600 places all around the country to eat. Obviously focused on the main places like Bangkok and Chiang Mai, but really we cover the whole country. Yeah, just a little, I gotta shield tube a little bit, gotta make some dollars somehow. So yeah, pick those up. Active Track, I'm not sure. I'm also showing you that you really shouldn't care about people watching, so we have a whole row of people watching us. And you need to get over those things. Purposefully chose this spot. Anyway, on that note, so I thought I'd take a walk around the area and pick up some B-roll because these type of shots are pretty important on my channel. And I think it also shows really what the camera can do. So enjoy this little sequence and then we'll move on to the next. As you can see, we've gone vertical, and I wanted to test this because one of the reasons I want to get this camera was to do some short form video. Now, when you do short form, it switches into 3K instead of 4K, so it's not using the full sensor, which isn't a problem for social media because you would do that in HD. However, in this 4K video, it can be a problem. So I'll just leave it as it is and you guys can see the quality. I've come to a place called Café de Nata for a pastel de nata, a Portuguese egg tart. Now, I used to live in Portugal, and this is the only place in Thailand, the only place in Bangkok that does Portuguese-style egg tarts. And I was craving it. You can see, nice and cooked on the top, caramelized, and then that flaky pastry underneath. Let's see how good it is compared to Portugal. Nice and custardy on the inside, thick custard, not too sweet, but nice and sweet, if you see what I mean. Something that I didn't do was add the cinnamon. Powdered cinnamon is absolutely vital. Oh, there's a lot. He's put the fan on me, so it all blew. Brilliant. I said last time, the pastry may not be as good as Portugal, but the custard is absolutely as good as Portugal. It's a nice little memory back to the place I called home for 4 years. All right, I'm back home now, and this is the view from my balcony. There's no other way to test this, but I want to test the different color profiles. So this is in D-Log. I told you it's the log color profile, the flat color profile, but the one that already exists, not the new one. I just want to see what the colors are like. And you can see it's quite colorful down there. Tell me the quality of this image. There's no other way to test this, unfortunately, other than just doing a test, if you can see what I mean. But the view is amazing. Bangkok is amazing, and it's an absolute pleasure to live with this view every single day. The other thing I want to see is the high contrast. So obviously it's shadow on my face and it's nice and bright behind me. How is the dynamic range? Can you see both in good detail? What does it look like? That's an interesting one because I always find that good. I can't remember how many stops of dynamic range, which means from the darkest to the lightest this has in D-Log, but I know it's 17 stops in D-Log 2. So let's change to that one and see if you can notice a difference. But let's start first with the color difference. So we're just going to start with this image. Just as a reminder, this is standard D-Log. I'm going to switch to D-Log 2 right now. This is D-Log 2. I've noticed it's lost the ISO, it's lost the range. It can only be fixed. And the base drops to 100, but I've left it on 400 so we can see the comparison. But how is the color change there? You see a difference in colors? Can you see a difference in dynamic range? Do the clouds look better? Does the sky look better? And then how does it look like on the high contrast scene? Are we looking better here with the 17 stops of dynamic range? We're getting more detail in my face, but then this isn't true auto. It's kind of semi-manual. What's the point in having auto if it's fixed ISO? That kind of doesn't really make sense. I almost want this to be brightened up a bit. I can see that it's pretty good out here, but if I brighten it up, then obviously we're going to get a little more. Anyway, that's all a bit weird. I'm sure there'll be a firmware update which addresses that, but I can't really tell on this screen. We're going to have a look. Next up, I wanted to test the slow motion capabilities of the DJI Pocket 4P, and this segment is dedicated to my favorite camera channel, Camera Conspiracies. Starting off with a monitor lizard at 50 frames per second, which is 2 times slow motion in D-Log. Looks cool. And then onto 100 frames per second, which is 4 times slow-mo. But these can only be done in standard color profile, so you can see a difference in the color, which is annoying, but I think it still looks quite nice. The birds flying in. I mean, the thing to remember is these are very niche modes. Not everyone is going to be using these. I don't know when I would use these, to be fair, but it does look good. 4 times slow motion is nice to have, especially in 4K. This is in 4K. And then the final one is 200 frames per second. Content you didn't know you needed is a pigeon walking in 8 times slow-mo, coming to check the camera out. But again, quality difference drops, but you can get some cool shots, I think. Last one of content you didn't think you needed is 8 times slow motion on a squirrel eating a nut. Never thought you'd be watching that on this channel, did you? But overall, I'm happy with the slow motion, and there's not much to complain about, other than no D-Log. Good evening and welcome to nighttime Bangkok. It has been a long day of filming today, from early this morning to right until this evening. Had to wait for the sun to go down because I wanted to properly test nighttime shots on this camera. I'm gonna go and grab some food at a little night market, or a little night venue, let's say. We'll walk past some street food stalls and test out what the shots look like at night. And there is a nighttime mode, so we'll see how that looks compared to this, which is in the normal mode. Actually, this shot here, I remember when I first got the Sony camera, I tested it under this light and it looked incredible. So let's do a test. This is normal, well, it's just a normal mode. And now I'm gonna switch to low light mode. I presume what it does is just slow down the shutter so it lets more light in. But how's the quality? Does it look better? Does it look more cinematic? Does it look more grainy and noisy? Does it look more sharp? Who knows? You guys tell me. Still in the low light mode. To be honest, most cameras are going to struggle in this low light. It's only really the full-frame mirrorless cameras that won't struggle in this low light. So I'd probably be leaning towards that one anyway, but it will be good if need be, I can use this camera, which is why we're going to go and find some food. And I love this little night place to eat food, this little market. So why not? So this is still in night mode, walking and vlogging. The other difference would be to the action camera, because it's digital stabilization only, it starts to get really shaky on the stabilization. Whereas this one, I think, because of the gimbal, it stays okay. But let's do a little walk and vlog when it's not in night mode. Same area, so the light is the same. Obviously it changes a little bit, so I'm going past storefronts, but it's still pretty low light. I will caveat and say, I probably don't know the best settings yet, and I need to kind of work that out. But yeah, I'll see you guys at the market. I might take a few shots of the street stalls just to show the 3x camera in the night. And yeah, I'll see you for food. Welcome to a place called the Camping Ground. Oh, it's busy. And they have live music tonight. So this is not close to where I live, but it's not far from where I live. So it's one of the spots I love to come to, just to hang out because of the vibes. It feels like a very Thai vibe. This is something I've been craving a lot since, well, I was on the diet and I couldn't have it. Grilled pork neck. This is definitely something good. Oh my God, look behind there. Can you see that? Look at the grilled chicken just sat on the side there, ready cooked over the charcoal. You can see just here, she's looking after the charcoal there, cooking in there. It looks amazing. I have had the chicken here and it was good, but I never really saw it. Oh, and the pork neck is there too. The second one I want is this, boat noodles. Very famous dish here in Thailand. And a very delicious dish here in Thailand. I've gone for the special version. Actually, you have so many choices. You get to choose, and this is what I love. You have pork, you have beef, you get to choose your noodles. You've got rice noodles, egg noodles, glass noodles. You get all of your vegetables on the side, so bean sprouts, holy basil, that's freebie. And then I've ordered some pork rind as well, because why not? That always adds to it. But I've gone for the special. So normally you get a normal portion, and then you get a special portion, which is just bigger, a little bit more meat maybe. Few more noodles. The noodles will be cooked to order, which is great. So you can see, bowl is ready. Noodles are being cooked in the broth. Vegetables go in to cook in there as well, again in the broth. And then you've got the cauldron on the right with the meat. And she'll pull it out of there. Love it. Little bit of blood, flesh, literally, fresh blood gets cooked in that broth with the beef, and that's what gives it the richness. You're going to go, oh, disgusting, but it is cooked and it is rich. We are meat eaters after all, and that gets poured over the top. So get all of that in, and they'll stay crispy on the inside, but just wilt down. So good. So good. You know what I realized? This camera actually comes with a light. I forgot it. I left it at home. So, unfortunately, we've just got the phone light so I can show you it. Just want to show you this and then we'll go back to the proper low light. But it deserves to be shown properly. Look how fatty and delicious that pork looks. Grilled pork neck, spicy chili sauce that you dip it in, rice, sticky rice, so good. And then our bowl of noodles. Total, can you guess? 200 baht. Not even £5, probably $5. Amazing. But let's see how it tastes. Right, what a feast. I feel like I haven't been the healthiest today in the food, but after 2 months of healthy, I kind of need a few days of that, I would say. I'm going to start with the noodles. Going to mix it all up. Oh my God, they look good. Oh man. I said the food in here isn't as good as what you can get elsewhere, but I must say this dish is pretty good. And it's something I eat, not regularly, but If I come here, I'm normally going towards this one. Rich and delicious. You would not know, I promise you, you would not know that there's blood in there. Ah, that grilled pork neck. We've got the product showcase on now, so can I hold it up for you? You can just see how fatty that is there. Look at that. Probably not so good in this low light. Oh my God. This is top 3 dish in Thailand, I would say, for me. Grilled pork neck. When it's done well, it's unbelievable. Dipped in that chili. It's smoky, it's fatty, it's meaty, it's salty, it's spicy. And then with that sticky rice. What do they say? Come for the boat noodles, come for the music, come for the atmosphere. Stay for the grilled pork neck. It's the next day. I've had a look at the footage. I've edited most of the footage. And naturally, I have some thoughts, good and bad, and I've decided whether it can replace my full frame camera. If you don't want to find out about that, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video, of course. But let's start with the bad, so we can end on the good. Why not? There's quite a few things that I've picked up. First of all, and in no particular order, is the exposure difference between the 1x zoom and the 3x zoom. You saw it on that B-roll shot. It's a big difference. I expect a small difference because it's a different sensor and it's a different aperture, but that's a big difference, and you have to think about that when you switch lenses and you have to change settings. That's annoying. The 1x camera, what I noticed in the edit is the 1x camera is far more overexposed than the 3x camera. Like significantly, I would say, and that's even with the EV compensation. So EV compensation was 0.7, minus 0.7 on both. But I then had to drop by 0.5 of a stop, more often than not, 2 stops lower on the 1x camera, both in D-Log. Like, that doesn't make sense. And if anything, the 1x camera was more often than not overexposed, clipping, which meant that I had to bring it down so much that perhaps overall I'm underexposed. So this doesn't make sense. Gimbal movements. Yeah, sure, I'm not very good at them, but compared to using just a normal camera, you have to keep chopping and changing, depending on the shot you're doing. If you're doing a panoramic shot or some B-roll, you might want one mode. If you're doing a walking vlog, you might want another mode, and you have to swipe down and go into the settings and change that. Not the end of the world, but it is a faff, I would say. And you can't just point the camera, right? You have to potentially move the gimbal. So some annoyance there, but it's probably just a case of me having to get used to it. Skin color is very magenta. I said I was in auto white balance and I left it as it was, that's true. But I had to adjust the skin tone just a little bit because it was like neon pink. In fact, I'll show you. That's unusable and it requires some touch up, let's say, which is fine. Now I know I can just apply that to every shot. But maybe it's just my skin, maybe I'm just pink. D-Log 2, only on one camera, annoying. So you can't use their newest color science, you have to use D-Log across both, but to be honest, D-Log is fine. I did notice a small difference, like, you know, the sky looks better, the clouds look a bit better. Maybe the colors are slightly better, but not enough to really care about it. No ISO range in D-Log 2. When you switch to that, it's fixed. So to make things easy in auto exposure, I have a range, so I can stop it going too far and too noisy. But it can adjust within that, right? So I don't have to think. That's basically like having an ND filter, having a fixed ISO. So yeah, that's annoying. Max 60 frames per second in D-Log. If you want to use 120 frames per second, or you want to use 240 frames per second, it goes into standard color. And then focus issues. It obviously looks for faces. Now, maybe this is settings. It obviously looks for faces. And when you're walking with the camera facing away from you, let's say you're doing a walking segment, it's hunting for faces. So the focus is coming in and out, not because it can't find anything, but because it is just coming in and out. So that's annoying, and it's probably a setting that I look into. But it's not all bad. And to be honest, those can probably be mostly solved with a firmware update. And I'm sure they will, because at the time of filming, it hasn't even had its global release. So I'm sure they'll do a firmware update and they'll fix those things. But it wasn't all bad. There was plenty of good. Let me tell you about those. The good. And these, I think, outweigh the negatives. I just, that's why I wanted to do these second. The first thing to call out is the quality. Now, the quality isn't as good as the Sony full-frame camera, but the quality is fantastic, especially in good light, but particularly in low light. That surprised me. I was very happy with the low light performance. When it gets really low, of course, you see a big difference between Sony full-frame camera and this. But in general, it's very usable and it's great because I don't have to worry about that or think about that. Full stop, I think. Ease of use, it's small. You know what they say, the best camera is the one that you have in your hand. Now, this camera is very easy to be in the hand and the pocket. It's called pocket for a reason. In between uses, it was just going in my pocket and it's there and it's easy and it is inconspicuous. People, this is I guess another point, people don't notice me as much. Not a problem for me, but if it's a problem for you, you are more stealthy, let's say that. Especially with that 3x 60mm camera, you can stand quite far back and get some nice shots with that. So that's great. It was also easy to edit, I would say, because of the way of filming, because I guess it's more vlog style. It took me a lot less time to edit this video, which has been nice. And you know what they say, time is money. So definitely something to think about. The gimbal is very smooth. Gimbal is great. I know it was also on the negatives, but the gimbal is great, especially for walking. That's where I notice a big difference. But even in the low light, compared to the Osmo and the iPhone, by the way, and the Sony, they start to lose a bit when the light drops, especially the iPhone and the Osmo. So you don't get any of that there, which is good. I said it's better in low light than I expected. That was my next point. The other one is the battery. Now, I did have to charge it, but I probably charged it 3/4 of the way through this vlog. And that would probably make me think about getting a battery handle, just because it was a little bit slower to charge with my power bank than it was at home. I don't know why. It's meant to have fast charge. So a battery handle might come in useful, I would say, but it lasted much longer than I expected. Got to 80% really fast, and then kind of lasted and lasted and lasted. There were no overheating issues, which is great, and Thailand is hot, and I'm using it for extended periods of time, like now. So yeah, overall, I would say those are pretty big things for me, I would say. Is it going to replace my Sony camera? Absolutely not. But what it will do is kind of what I wanted it to do. It gives me another string in my bow. That will probably be my go-to camera, I would say. And then the full frame will be where I really want to up the quality. But in terms of getting videos out, editing fast, and just not really giving myself an excuse, this camera is perfect. Because the Osmo Action gave me too much of an excuse to be like, well, the quality's not so good. But then, I don't know if I can make such a high quality video, don't have time for that. So then I would not make one and I'd release just once a week. This is going to answer that question. It's going to leave me with no excuses. And would I recommend it? Yes, I would recommend it. I really hope they fix the things that are on the negative list. As I say, I think the majority of them can be fixed with the firmware update, and I have no doubt they will do that. But yeah, let me know what you think. Thank you for sticking through it, and I hope it was useful. Please subscribe and leave me a comment. Do that, that will help the video, and leave a hype if you've enjoyed it. That would also help the video find its new audience. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.